Welcome to Never By the Book podcast. This is your host, Kelly Schols. At 24, I was dead broke and a full-blown alcoholic. By age 40, I was debt-free and a millionaire. Now I share my secrets to success and transformation with audiences around the world as a speaker, author, success mentor, and of course, your podcast host. Each Never By the Book episode features a guest who has overcome obstacles to build an incredible life of fulfillment. I'm excited to introduce you to our guest today. When I first met Ellen Rohr back in 2013, my first thought was, wow, this woman is a powerhouse and amazing lady. You'll see what I mean shortly, but first, let me tell you a little about her. Ellen is founder and president of Zoom Drain, one of the hottest home service franchises in the country. She is also the author of 4 best-selling books and regularly shares her knowledge, wisdom, and business savvy through seminars, podcasts, and magazines like the Huffington Post. She's also on the go and seems to draw from an endless source of energy, creativity, and levity. Lately, she says she's been focusing on what it takes for us to change. With our episode entitled Need a Lift? Be willing to shift from the inside out. It's my pleasure to introduce you to the show, Ellen.
Big fan, Kelly. Big fan of yours.
Thank you. I'm a big fan of yours as well. So we're fans of each other. Since I was back at Zoom Drain last week or 2 weekends ago doing a class for you guys, I'm even more of a fan now.
Well, can I share what Erin told me about the class?
Sure.
Okay, so I asked one of our team members who took Kelly's class. You know, it's so Kelly and I commiserated about this to get people to show up. It's such a vulnerable situation. They may not want their peers to know that they're struggling with money. You know, we had to do a lot of encouraging to get the guys that we did in class, and I was excited for that initial team to have a good experience. So I asked Aaron, "What did you get out of the class?" And he told me hope. He got hope out of the class. And that made my heart sing. I love that kid so much. And, you know, here he's a young guy. I didn't even wake up when it came to financials till I was like 35. And that's a disadvantage, you know? So he's in his early 20s. This kid could be a very good financial steward, thanks to you. So
thank you. Thank you for having me in. That's enough about me. Let's talk about you.
Let's talk about me. Sure. My favorite topic.
Always. So Zoom Drain in the background, Rohr Corporation.
That's right.
I don't know if you remember when we first met. It was 2000. I believe it was 2013. We were in Phoenix for a blue collar event, and we met there
with Kenny. Yes, I had a great time, and yes, that's where we met. I'm glad you remembered. I wouldn't have, but I do now. I remember the room, and there was a lot of hope in that room too. It was
there
great.
Was. And when I met you, I'm like, that's a lady I really want to get to know. You're just energy and just everything about you. So if you would just go back in time and kind of give a 1,000-foot view of where you started in the business and how you got into the business and
sure. And I'll just park on a couple of the points that really shaped my philosophy, because you know that will tell you what my prejudices are and why I tend to be so interested in certain topics. I'm by no means an expert at all things. I've got a couple of areas where I would consider myself knowledgeable, but overall, I know a little bit about a lot of things when it comes to contracting. But here's how I came to be the queen of everything at Zoom Drain. Is once upon a time I married a plumber. When I was growing up, I grew up well-to-do. I'm very grateful for my parents. I had a lot of opportunity as a kid. Not everybody can say that, but I did. And when we had a problem, we called people. Now, my dad had financial challenges later, but while I was growing up, I grew up in this kind of sea of abundance that really shaped me. And my dad wasn't handy. We didn't fix things ourselves. We called people. And I really took all of that for granted. Toilet didn't work, lights didn't come on. You called somebody and some miracle happened. And then I married my husband, the plumber, Hot Rod. And I started to ride along with him because I thought it was cool. And I found out it's really cool, especially like I come from this position where I technically cannot do any of this cool stuff: plumbing, heating, cooling, drains, electrical. I don't know how to do any of it. But over the years, starting with my husband, I've developed this deep sense of appreciation. And I would say that my number one intention today and always is to be a champion of the trades, of the people who do this great work. They should make a lot of money. They should have a lot of respect. It's something I can do. And that's what motivates me to be on your show, to work, with Zoom Drain. Like I look for ways that I can champion the trades, because I've always been so impressed by the wonderful people who do them, who do this work. So I got to know Hot Rod, but typical at mom and pop shop, not typical. My husband's partner died. This also had an impact on me. He was a really great guy, friends with my husband since they were like in 5th grade. And he really literally worked himself into a health crisis and punched out. And at 33 years old, he didn't feel well. He went to the hospital. Last words he said to me were, "If I don't do it myself, it'll never get done." Wow. And then he died. And Hot Rod and I are just like, whoa, we thought he was just needed a good night's sleep, wait, what happened? Right. And it was really awful and traumatic. And this is where my husband said to me, I don't like the business part of business. I like the technical part. I'm going to go work for someone else. And I talk him out of it. I say, no, I'll count the money. I've got all this experience. I've had a lot of jobs. I have a college education. I'll do the money. You turn wrenches. We'll get rich. Mm-hmm. And we did not. And it sucked so bad. We had no money. We didn't have my job. We were barely making ends meet. I'd wake up in the middle of the night wondering how I was going to make payroll. All those awful mom pop things that are so common in any small business, and maybe even particularly in the trades. I went through that. And then I found my mentor. Frank Blau, right? Do you know Frank?
Oh, okay, yeah. I've been through Frank's seminar.
Okay. So you've been told where your head is.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can never do it right enough for our boy Frank, but he's had an impact on you, on me, on so many others. And he was the first one who really taught me that you have to charge more than it costs. Mm-hmm. It doesn't matter what other people are doing. And if you don't know, because you're not running a balance sheet and a profit and loss, if you don't know what's happening, you're never going to make it. You might as well shut it down. And that was really the message he gave me, but it did straighten me up. It got me to take responsibility. Just today with my executive team, the call that I was on right before this podcast, we were talking about our franchisees. How can we make it super easy for them to do accounting, to know? And then Christina, who's like 26, chimes in with, but shouldn't they want to know where their money is? Like,
hey, didn't somebody write a book?
Where did the money go? Yeah, but like just that, it made my heart sing that she gets that it's an owner's stewardship, a responsibility. It's their job to know where the money is, where it comes from, where it goes, and how to make more of it. And yes, even if we help with the accounting, if it's a business, why else are you doing it? I just loved hearing it. It was like out of the mouth of babes for me. This moment. Christina, you're so smart. Just to remind all of us that there's really no substitute for someone taking responsibility for their company. That's what happened to me. That's why we got better. That's why I made more money. It was really this pivotal moment in my life that I thought, I know how to make money now. You charge more than it costs, and you figure out sales and marketing. So someone will say yes to premium prices. I don't know how to make money unless you're a premium price provider of services or Walmart, So that really had a big impact on me. And then just to shorten up the story, since then, that's been the area of expertise. Simple, basic, powerful financial systems for the business. That's why you and I are such a good combo, right? Because I really don't focus on personal finance or that education, although there's so many parallels.
But here's the thing. There's so many parallels. And if people would do the same thing in their personal finances, what you teach in the business, everybody would be in way better shape. They'd have more hope.
Yeah. I have a QuickBooks account called the Rohr Family Fortune. That's my QuickBooks account that I operate exactly like my other businesses as with a balance sheet and a profit and loss, and even a from to if I'm funding one of my businesses and I want that business to pay me back, So yes, those concepts absolutely apply. And I appreciate all the work you're doing to help people get smarter, because true freedom in any country, company, society, family comes from a solid economy.
It does.
Like there has to be an economy. The surest way to destroy a country is not with bombs. It's by destroying their economy. And there is there is so much that really, fires me up and turns me on. So if I am going to be a champion of the trades, the one area that I really like to focus on, and why I'm so glad that you and I are working together at Zoom and on this podcast is because if you get that piece of it, you're just so much more capable and more powerful than if you're counting on someone else to take care of your money for you, or if you're blindly just driving and not paying attention. So from there, I worked with Benjamin Franklin, the punctual plumber. We grew that franchise, and I was part of that extraordinary story. Super proud of that. And then we started Zoom a few years ago. Our total sales between the company-owned stores and the franchisees last year was 31 million. On our way to 300 million is our goal right now. So we've got a lot of exciting things coming up. We've partnered with some great investors, and I couldn't be more fired up. It's funny. I'm always an optimistic person. I've never been as excited about my career as I am right now. So yeah.
Well, you should be. I was in there a couple of weeks ago, and
isn't it great?
Oh man, it's amazing.
It's amazing.
And the people that I met there, absolutely amazing people.
They're kids. They're kids. And they see it, and they're smarter than me. And I'm just like, I couldn't be happier. I tell all of them, you can have my job. I'm not going to do this. All I want to do is ride along and talk philosophy to the folks in the trucks and then on the phones, man. That's where I want to end up. So,
but it starts with the leader.
And I also, my partner, Jim Cronetti, is my perfect foil. We started the company once upon a time. Al Levy. Have you had him on your podcast? He'd be
I haven't had Al yet.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Have Al on your podcast. He has had a huge influence on my philosophy, because once you get a clue, you want to document that, put it in procedure, put it up on Google Drive, impose it on the team members so that you don't have to do it all yourself anymore. And you can grow this thing, including the financial procedures. So Al and Jim Cronetti and I started the business, and Al was always, he said, I'll get you started. Jim is ultimately going to be the king of everything. And we'll find an appropriate exit. And that just happened in 2021. So Al is forever a founder and in our hearts. And now Jim is the leader. And Jim too is just a solid, he's not as dramatic as I am, but he is this calm, cool center of focus and leadership. You mentioned leadership. I work best as a lieutenant, and Jim is absolutely the general, or the king of things, because I really buy into his leadership and his philosophy, and that leadership makes a big difference. So we try every day to make it really simple. What are the few things that you need to work on today? What 3 things are we going to get done today that will help us make money, have more fun, do right by our team, community, and families?
Yeah. Well, and I like that. What 3 things are you going to work on today? And you're talking business-wise. But, when I do my personal finance, it's the same type of thing. And I think it's that way with anything in life. What 3 things can I do today to make not only maybe my business, but what about myself better?
I love that you brought that up, because I don't differentiate. On my to-do list, there will absolutely be 3 things, and one of them may be my workout. Like what 3 things I have. I don't separate it. Anytime I've ever heard it's just business, or it's not personal, it's business, I'm like holding on to things, because I don't think this is going to turn out well for me. I don't love that intro, because it's all personal. You don't have to take it personally, but as a person, your responsibility is to sometimes especially if you're young and you're getting your career started, the best thing you can do for your family is work. Get them to buy into it. Yep, there's going to be some long days. Yep, the most important pieces I will block out of my calendar. It is important that I serve my family in this way, because our service techs, sometimes they have to work overtime. It's like the family has to be in on it too. That's what I love about your class. You have to bring, you don't have to, but you're really encouraged to bring your significant other, because it is a group dynamic, right? That family unit needs to understand what's going on and why we're doing things and how they can win. So I definitely don't see this. I don't see a differentiation between my business life and my personal life. I'm just trying to weave it together in a way that is of service to others and to me and them.
Well, and don't you feel the better you are in your personal life, the more you work on yourself, the better you're going to be in your business life too.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And you can't the most important question I think you can ask someone, or someone can ask you, or you can ask yourself, I guess, is what do I want? Or what do you want? Like, if I remember to ask that question, that intention, let's set the intention. Why are we here? Why are you and I here? Like, again, my intention, let me promote the trades. Let me encourage people to make great money, to find some financial freedom, to do things right, to, maybe raise their prices, maybe a natural outcome of a conversation like ours. And then, but it can happen a whole bunch of different ways. Like, my husband was this great Zen master for me in terms of, I wanted to grow a big company. He didn't. He's like, dude, I want to work all by myself on projects I like, for people that are nice. On, he just didn't have that itch to scratch. And for a long time, I tried to get him to be different. And so my encouragement and my personal work is, do you, like, so to your point, like, do what's in your hula hoop. Wayne Dyer says that until you change, nothing will change for you. But once you change, everything and everyone changes.
Right.
Like, as you improve yourself, then the relationships that you have are going to get better. Some people are going to fall off. Other people are going to be magnetized to what you're doing. So yeah, working on yourself is a way that that you're going to make everything, as selfish as that sounds, it is the most selfless thing we can do, because then we're not blaming or asking anyone else to fill in this need or gap in ourselves. We can just bring ourselves to the party, and that saves a lot of time and energy.
Yeah, and I love that. It's selfless. It's not selfish, because so many people think if they're taking time for themselves, they're being selfish, and it's not.
And if you do have the dream, if you're listening and you think, well, what do I want? I really want to grow a company. I want to create some opportunities. Well, you cannot do it yourself.
Yeah.
You cannot. And that's why the trades is so fragmented, is so full of 1 to 3 truck outfits. And most of those outfits are one guy in a truck. Yeah. The reason it's so is because they're convinced no one can do it like them. This is an old story, but it's still so prevalent that, you have to, it has helped that I have zero skills in so many ways, because I literally, if someone were absolutely, the house was filling with sewage, I could never be of service in that. I have to get someone else to help me, to help them. And that has helped me a lot. So if you're not the most technically astute at your company, I wouldn't encourage you to become that. I'd encourage you to set the stage so that others could eclipse you, and that you become the least relevant person in an emergency situation. And then you just love on those people. And how do you encourage them to stay and find careers? And that's my encouragement if you want to grow.
Right. And what is it Zig Ziglar says? The more you help people get what they want.
It goes like this, because I have a friend I'm a Ziglar trained guy once upon a time, and I have a friend who corrects me on it. So I'll tell you the quote. You can have everything in life you want if you will just help enough other people get what they want.
That's right.
That's the quote.
Yeah.
He made me memorize
it. Got it memorized good, Ellen.
Yeah, I got it now, I think. Let me know, Howard, if I did that right. So, yeah.
And now you're helping a lot of people through Zoom Drain.
That's our hope. And how simple can we make it? So, Zoom Drain, just today in our conversation, what can we take off franchisees' plates in exchange for the royalty fee and the brand fund? Okay, they're paying us these dollars. What can we do for them that's going to strip away stuff that they don't have to do and leave them only with the stuff that they have to do? And then, franchising in general, and certainly, my company in particular, I'm very sensitive to what we provide, but generally you would join a franchise so that you don't have to create a brand or trademark it or go through all those marketing assets creation, what to put the trucks. You wouldn't have to go, especially these days. I've got over 100 trucks on order right now. Wow. So, I mean, you're better off with me than to go try and find a truck on your own right now. So we're just trying to look for ways that collaboration. We'll do the heavy lifting on stuff that doesn't require you, but the stuff that you have to do, like make friends with the referral partners in your neighborhood, approach people about acquisition, call back your customers and make sure that they're happy, answer the phone. If you're not using the call center, that you're answering the phone properly, you're catching the call. And most importantly, is your service tech and your customer having a great day? Like, pay attention to that.
Yeah.
Invoice by invoice, customer by customer, experience by experience, build on those moments. That I can't do for you in the moment. So if I can strip away the stuff that would distract you from doing that, then my offering as a franchisor becomes irresistible. We fail every day, but that's absolutely the conversation and the intention every day.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can do that. I mean, like, if you don't want to be a franchise, or if you've already got, just Michael Gerber said, build your company as if you could sell it.
Yes.
Or franchise it. And then you may not want to, but then it's still turnkey. It's still scalable and profitable. And, that you've got the good stuff happening for you. You're going to create all those options for yourself. Oh, and selling it. Man, how about selling companies these days? Can you believe the stories we're hearing?
It's crazy, isn't it? I know.
OMG. I was around when the first roll-ups happened in the 90s, and the money was just like, you can sell one of these things.
Yeah.
What? And then now it's like 100 times that.
Oh, it's crazy. Yeah.
It's delicious.
It's
so good. It makes me so proud.
And I hope my audience understands that is how much money there is to be made in the home service industries, because, my audience isn't just about the home service industries, but it's a good industry to be in, especially what's going on in the economy in the world right now. I mean, we're always, they're always going to be here, right?
Yeah. Here. Yeah. That's, again, one of my prejudices. It's really the soup from which I sip, because all my work has been done in the trades and, home service particularly. And the attention it's getting from the biggest investors on the planet right now. This is new in the last 2 years.
Yeah.
So if you have a home service, now, could it be a bubble? Are these prices just unsustainable? I mean, if you pay someone 25 times earnings, do you technically have to wait 20 years to get your money back? Right. So that may be. However, if you build a company that has, say, 25% earnings, you could wait out these bubbles and you're still making 25%. Unscalable, predictable. No, even if you're getting involved in crypto or investments, do it all. Like, from a personal standpoint, it comes down to, what do you want? Some people have higher risk levels, Kelly, right?
They do.
So suppose that, their goal is, I want to get out of all debt except for vehicles. And then I want to put some wherewithal to work for me in some high risk ways. I'm 35 years old. I've got some time, I'm going to carve out $10,000 and do something. Maybe you can do stuff like that, right? However, there is something so satisfying about the trades, because at the end of the day, I'm going to cry now, we make somebody's day better.
Yes.
Like, you can make a ton of money in your stocks, and I get it, and do it. I'm not even being judgy. I'm just saying there's also this deliciousness of actually doing some brick and mortars business, where someone on your team knocks on a door, shows up, has some empathy, saves the day, feels so good that I don't know that I would ever not. I mean, my last job is Zoom Drain. I'm going to die here in some position on the org chart. Ultimately, I'll just be ambassador, right? But I just get so much satisfaction out of a good day. It was a problem. We solved it. Oh, delicious.
Well, and I've been beaten into plumbers' heads and technicians' head for years that we protect the health and welfare of this nation. Without plumbing contractors, HVAC contractors, this would be a third world country.
It's so interesting, because in the US, there are very few exceptions, and there are some exceptions.
Yeah.
But for the most part, if someone has a clogged drain today, they can get help today.
Yeah.
But 70% of the world, to your point, has inadequate sanitation, and 30% of the 7 billion people on this planet poop on the ground every day. Isn't that crazy?
That's crazy.
Like when you think about just like we take it for granted in this country, it is not a God-given right. It is a luxury, and we should pay for it.
Yes. And we should make money taking care of it.
And I think too, as we look to the future in our climate challenged Earth, that these basic services of getting water and disposing of water, they're going to become more and more important.
Yeah.
You know, the water on this planet is getting more and more compromised. What an awesome thing to be part of is the sustainability of the water cycle on the planet. I always talk about, I love drain cleaners. I love septic guys. Septic are the wine into water guys.
Yeah.
They turn the waste back into water.
Yeah.
Isn't that amazing? See, when you can't do it, something like that to me just is like, oh, I'm just dazzled by it. You go. So good. They should make a ton of money. And I've met so many septic guys who are just, they had the hope beat out of them. They got dead up to their eyeballs with all this pumping equipment, all this stuff. And I just think it doesn't have to be this way.
Thanks, Ellen. Appreciate it. Thank you so much for listening to Never Buy the Book. Share it with someone you care about. And don't forget to subscribe through your favorite podcast app so you'll never miss an episode. As we close today, remember, if you're not doing it by the book, it might just mean you're onto something great. Until next time, be great.